It says watch live. Watch live on the interwebs.
Watch live.
People are just sitting here watching us. Are we muted or something? No. Do you really want people hearing my inner thoughts? I don't think so. Hang on, boys.
Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're live.
Dang.
Mind your damn business.
Hey.
You're not even supposed to be here.
Why?
Because I filed a fucking restraining order against you.
Again?
Yeah.
It's weak.
Tired of your bullshit. I'm going to impeach you with 3 days left in your presidency. And my understanding is the plan is to continue the impeachment process.
Even after he's gone?
Yeah. Like, that's... Who the fuck is that for? That seems weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, that sounds like...
We're trying to let people get into the room before we start the main part of the show now.
I'm going to see if I can see it. I want to see what people are doing. Oh, you know. It doesn't show me live. It doesn't show.
Yeah, it's live.
There it is. It is live. Would you look at that, Dan?
You're just incompetent.
Dan,
Yes.
I'm incompetent?
Well, I mean, we both are. I left my house this morning after walking my mutts.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, it's a great story. Let's talk about me now.
wow, I didn't even get my whole story out. I ordered some bison from I don't remember the name of the company, something bison company.
Yeah.
Good bison company, maybe. Anyways, as soon as I got back, I'm really good at doing promotions, but they didn't pay me anything or give me a discount, so, fuck them. But ran back upstairs to get something out of my place, noticed that the bison had just been delivered. Obviously, it's in one of those, like, freeze-dried containers or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And had to put all that shit in the freezer, and then I
Cool.
walked out without any of the stuff that I had come back for.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
Yeah, it just kind of underscores that we're both stupid.
Yeah. How am I stupid?
I mean, you still got crayon in your teeth right now.
Okay. I brushed them right before I walked in. Hey, hey, Giorgio, is there a way I can put a poll up in the comments over here?
I could put your poll up on the screen, but we have to edit it.
Yeah, because
You gotta blur it out.
You probably don't have wide.
No,
Does that camera have wide view?
It's so white that it'll reflect the light.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. So I guess I can't put a poll in there.
No, he hasn't done any puzzles, Rihanna, because his girlfriend she died in a fucking plane crash or something.
No, she didn't. She actually broke up with me though.
Oh, good for you. That's
Yeah.
always good news.
Yeah.
It's always good news to move on from people.
I get broke up with a lot.
That's not how you spell pole, Nico, unless you're talking about one that you put inside someone or through someone or in the ground, I guess. I don't know why my first instinct was to say inside someone. Yeah, Dakota and I are both on the market. I think maybe we're going to do our own version of The Bachelor.
You know what we could do? We could actually do a Hinge profile like
a dual Hinge profile like Jared and
Jared
Jack did, yeah.
I bet we do better than they did.
Oh, yeah, we definitely would. Hey, Georgia, do you want to take a picture of us after the show, or are you just going to... He's on a 17-second delay because he's watching on the fucking...
Yeah.
On his phone, so I'm going to just sit here and wait for him to look up at me.
Yeah, for 17 seconds.
2,
Awkward.
1. Nope.
Nope, didn't happen. Yeah. So I guess, so let me ask you this, Dan.
Wait, Giorgio. Hey. Yeah, I know. We need a portrait of us taken because we're going to start a joint Hinge profile.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Dan. Now, I mean...
Should we hold hands in the picture, or...
No, I think what we do is we kind of do like a
boy band or
boy band
tough
pose.
guy.
Or what do you guys think?
Christian
Do you
rock
think?
Band. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Dan. How soon? I mean, I don't even know what to do after a breakup. What do you do? It's been like the first person I've really dated in a long since I was married. So I mean, it's like literally 5 or 6 years. So
I think
what do you do? Like, how long do you wait?
Well, there's no point in waiting any amount of time. Intrinsically, there's no point in it unless there's something that you feel like you need to change about yourself or work on before you get into another thing.
Really, it was nothing like about you or me. It was just kind of it's just like we both had different goals in life.
Yeah.
we both want different things.
You want to make sure that you're not making impulse decisions based on loneliness or insecurity, right?
Yeah.
Make good decisions still, but if you're capable of making good decisions, there's no point.
But if and
banging whores is fun too, so that's another thing to look into.
I prefer to call them women. I think that's very disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. But the kind of women that like me like being called whores.
Really?
You understand? Yeah. They like me to spit in their mouths and things. Wow, but this is the wrong show for this, isn't it? I thought we were on Drinking Bros here, but excuse me.
I'm actually listen, Dan. So
I would be a great fucking psychiatrist.
You spit in their mouth?
I don't care to necessarily, but they
ask for that?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, where do you find these people at? Do they like look at you and say like?
I would never, but where do you find them? Exactly. Is there a website?
They look at like, how do they bring that conversation? They look you in the eyes and say, "Spit in my mouth."
Yeah, or slap me or
slap you. They're just trying to get you in charges.
No, I wish.
Is that consent? Is that consent? If you slap, like they want you to hit them?
Yeah. Not like
that sounds scary.
Split
guys.
Their fucking head open or anything. But
guys, this sounds.
I want the woman to be happy. Otherwise, what's the point? You know what I mean? So if she wants that and that helps her be happy, then I'll slap the shit out of her, right?
Yeah, but like
I don't like it because I have sensitive skin and it hurts my hand. You know what I mean? So sometimes I put the Oakley gloves on and just really do some body work.
Like, we're talking about like you're talking about like, are you talking about sex or are you talking about fighting?
Sex, not fighting. I'm not going to slap. I would never hit anybody during a fight.
I know. I just don't get it.
Not even a man, really. I'm not going to fight some dude over what? Man?
I wouldn't hit. I mean, I don't know. I just don't get like why you would spit in somebody's mouth.
The last woman that talked to me about that said it was very intimate. It was like something kind of, I guess it's kind of gross, but it's something that only you can do, and that feels special to them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a black dude calling his buddy the N-word or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's we can do that, nobody else
like
can.
Blood brothers. You become like blood brothers.
Well, no, that's how you get herpes. But,
I think you could probably get AIDS by spitting in somebody's mouth as well. No,
you can't get AIDS.
You can't get AIDS through spit. You would
have for saliva. Do you not remember all the debate back and forth in the mid '90s when Magic Johnson came out and said he had HIV? I mean, you know how much saliva it would take to transmit HIV to somebody? You would basically just have to fucking stand over them and spit for the next 25 years. And at that point, you'd probably be dehydrated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of confused at how the conversation comes up of spit in my mouth. And like, do you like take them serious? Like, do you like look at them and go, "Oh yeah, you want more?" Or like, I mean, like, or do you just like, how do you take them serious past that point?
I mean, what's the limit for you? Like, how weird is something when you don't take it seriously anymore? Because
I mean, bro, if a girl looked at me and said spit in my mouth,
if she was,
I mean, I'd probably start laughing. I'd be like,
if she was on her knees sucking your dick, and then backed away and just looked up at you and said spit in my mouth, you would absolutely do it. Guaranteed, you would do it. It's too late at that point. It's like what
if you miss and hit her on the forehead?
Well, you got to get close. That's the whole point, right?
Why would you? You're just you're weird, Dan.
Seriously,
you're a weird cat.
It's like at that point in the process, you can't turn back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you're in the wake. You can't fight the wake. You just gotta let it take you.
So you're like in the moment.
Yeah.
So like, I just don't understand how you get to there. I mean, like how do you get to all these things, like slapping, all these things within 2 minutes?
Well, I mean, it's all about making people feel comfortable.
I know, but how do you do it like in 2 minutes? Like how do you get through all this in 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's called foreplay. That part doesn't even count during sex.
You don't start the timer in foreplay?
I don't start a timer at all, but I certainly wouldn't start until I was inside the woman.
Bro, you would be, because if I didn't start in foreplay, I mean, it'd be like less than a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, I've watched a couple times. Frank Z, I would not let somebody shit on me, and I wouldn't shit on anybody else. I guess that's my limit.
Yeah.
I don't want. I mean, this is unnecessary to poo on people.
Yeah, that's like disgusting. That's disgusting.
Anyways, let's talk about politics.
Yeah.
Lots happened since we last spoke to you folks.
Yeah, man, we've
everyone's getting more reasonable, calming down now that the election is over, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's good to see that we've got mature adults. And you know what I'm really, and I think I called this a few shows back. I said the thing that would be terrible is if the Republicans lost and they spent the next 4 years doing what the Democrats did the last 4 years for them losing, right?
Well, I would say
that we've surpassed that. I'd say that the Republicans have surpassed the Democrats, and I would say that it's only going to get worse. Holy shit. It's crazy right now, right?
It is wild, yeah. I mean, but this isn't the first. Look, the Republicans have already done it. Obama's entire time in office, they did nothing but after 2009 try to repeal the Affordable Care Act. I think they tried to do it like 46 times or some shit like that. And they never had the votes. They knew they didn't have the votes to ever do it. They just kept holding the vote to be dicks. So, turnabout's fair play, I guess, in that sense. Not very good for the country.
It's not.
And all these children running around. And it's, there's some weird stuff to me. We'll get into this later about how the whole process of this stimulus bill and the over $1 trillion that went to foreign countries for some reason.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, and why anybody in Congress or who's a governor or a mayor of a large city is still taking a paycheck while their fucking people aren't getting fed. But
it's crazy.
We'll get to that later. Right now, we're on board the fucking censorship train. Like nothing I've ever seen before. I've never seen anything like this. It's been hard to keep up with everything, but basically all social media and a bunch of other apps like Spotify. For some reason, Spotify banned Trump. I don't know why Spotify got involved in that. I don't really care about that, but it does set a dangerous precedent.
But let me ask you this. At what point do you think that it's time for? I mean, at what point do you think do you think that these big tech companies are doing this? But like, I want to know what you think their intentions are. Do you think they're knowingly trying to do this to fuck the world up, or do you think they are doing this because they feel like they're truly trying to protect the world?
Well, I don't think. See, that's kind of a loaded question because it's an either or fallacy, right? Either this is true or that's true. I don't think either one of those things is true. I think they're doing what rich and powerful people do, which is protect their wealth and power, and try to gain more of it, right? Mm-hmm. And then you reach a certain level of power, and combined with having sycophants around you all the time, always telling you that what you're saying is correct, you end up really believing it and thinking you're some kind of you develop like a savior complex. We've seen it a million times before. Yeah. Bezos is like that. Fucking Bloomberg's like that. All these people think, oh, I'm going to save the world with my new technology. No, you're not, dude. All you're going to do is get rich, and that's fine to get rich. But don't fucking try to use that wealth and power now to get down into the weeds in other people's day-to-day lives and think you know better than people that are doing the work that they're doing, because you don't know. Yeah. The real problem, though, excuse me, isn't necessarily social media banning Trump. I mean, look, that's within their rights to do, I suppose. The fact that he's still president is a bit problematic.
Yeah, but I think he should act like a president.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm not too concerned about that part. I'm more concerned about Apple and Google and Amazon colluding together to ban Parler.
But they wouldn't be...
I don't give a fuck about Parler, generally speaking. I think pressing into that domain, I've said this for a long time, is not the best thing for the country because it's going to just create more echo chambers and less real communication. But
this could all be fixed, like I said before. If the people who we put up there to make laws would put a law in place, you would fix this whole tech problem, right? Mm-hmm. You fix it and take the censorship off of them by coming in and making every account be linked to some person so that some person could be held accountable. And then that fixes it.
It does in a way, but then you give the government a list of everybody on the internet. And to be honest,
they've already got it. Like if you're on the internet, they've already fucking got it. You know they do.
Maybe, but we can't make it legal. Like there has to be some recourse. Every 5 to 10 years when we catch the government doing fucked up shit, we have to be able to take them to task for it. And if we make it law just because it's already happening, then we give them the right to do more. You give them an inch and they're going to take a mile. The next thing you know, you're going to be getting government fucking issued internet credits. Like you can, here's your 2 hours of internet for the week. Use it wisely. You know what I mean? Fuck that shit.
That's crazy.
This is unprecedented though. The fact that Apple and Google, the two main app stores that exist, banned the app Parler for bullshit reasons. Like Twitter has inspired way more violence through both white supremacists and Antifa than any other platform that exists. Twitter's responsible for getting Donald Trump elected in the first place. And they're still in the app store. The fucking Ayatollah is still on Twitter.
I mean, look, I think I think if you're going to ban Trump, I mean, definitely Iran and I mean all those other. There's a bunch of fuckers over there that need to be gone.
Yeah, and this thing with the last straw for me was, and I called it last Thursday. I knew they were going to do it, and it happened Monday. Amazon Web, so AWS, dropped Parler as well. So that's the three main ways you can get your product out to people, and your product is an alternative to what is clearly an oppressive social media culture right now that is censoring one side over the other. There's no question about that. And then Amazon steps in and removes that site's ability to even push its case into the public sphere. That should not be possible. It should not be possible for three companies to be able to collude and shut down people's right and ability to communicate with one another.
It's called a monopoly, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess in this case it's more of a duopoly or oligarchy, but yeah, basically. And here we are. Another issue where generally everybody agrees. I mean, say what you want about Elizabeth Warren, but she's been on this tip about breaking up the big tech companies for years now. So have a lot of other people on the right and the left. This is something that before recently, pretty much everybody agreed on. It's kind of like the George Floyd thing. When he got killed, everybody was like, that seemed a little shady. You might want to look into that one.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's kind of on board with that. Like, yeah, that one's, you can't just put your knee on a dude's neck for fucking 10 minutes or 9 minutes. But for some reason, there's a nationwide battle over it because it's like that analogy with the ants. Yeah, you put regular ants and fire ants in a container together and they will coexist. Nothing will happen. If you shake the container, they will assume the other color is attacking them and then they fight each other and they kill each other. But they never stop to think about who shook the container. We are all fighting each other constantly.
We're like a bunch of ants right now.
Yeah, we're a bunch of idiots. We never look up and see who's shaking the container. And
when we let somebody else tell us who's shaking the container because we don't even look anymore.
Yeah. So, people are defending indefensible positions now. It seems like people have made the critical mistake of assuming that we're fighting over right and left when we're supposed to be fighting for what's right and fighting against what's wrong.
I just think that, look, if you're like Fox News, any of them, if you're looking at those for anything other than entertainment, if you're looking for them as source of information, you are insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like it's insane. I had a buddy call me yesterday, and he was like, "Man, like he's talking about he's got one person that's he's around a lot that's ultra left. You got another person he's around that's ultra right, and he's like, man, like they're both just like." Just complaining and just like, he's like, man, I don't even know what's real anymore. And I was like, man, look at it like this. Look, everybody's business is doing good. Like most business owners did pretty good last year, right? I mean, yeah, the COVID fucked a lot of things, but like, as far as like the market here in Texas, like builders did good. You know what I mean? Like there was still
the service industry
got fucked. But I mean, as far as like I look and, your 401ks, made as much money as they've ever made in a year. And I asked him, I said, look, here's what I tell you. Emotions make money. Logic don't. Mm-hmm. Emotions make money, right? And I said, are your kids healthy?
Yeah.
Is your family safe? Right? Like, look around. Stop letting everybody else spool up on your emotions and look at the logical side of it. You know what I mean? And, now, do I think 2021 could be a rough year? I think there's going to be a bubble bust, in the fall of 2021. I don't think it's going to be like a 2008 bubble, right? But I do think that there's going to be some type of realignment.
Yeah, we'll see. It's probably going to hit the commercial real estate market harder than it will the residential one, but we'll see about that. Yeah, it's been a decent year for a lot of people. It's been tough for a lot of people, and it shows how tenuous our economy is because. And it also shows that a lot of the stuff that Republicans believe is not true, by the way. So this idea that the stock market is a good indicator of the overall health of the economy is absolute dog shit, right? Like the stock market, it does mean that your 401ks are doing well, but the average person doesn't file capital gains at the end of the year during tax season. They just don't.
Yeah.
Most people are not fucking filing capital gains, which, by the way, is taxed anywhere from 8 to 23% less than other earnings, like your income, for example. So people that are investing in the stock market, and that's where they're making their primary amount of money, they are top earners, right? That doesn't affect you. So we know that now because the stock market continued to climb up while jobs were stagnant, especially in December. Now, that's a good thing to know. The bad thing is that this is another situation where there's good data available from this circumstance for us to apply that rule, decide that we can agree on that, and then move on, but no one will, right? Because we've grown so far apart, like a marriage on the decline, that we're just like seeing each other in passing and screaming. We can't even speak to each other anymore. And frankly, I'm not surprised to see some violent shit going on, even though it's been at a relatively small scale. It doesn't surprise me at this point.
Yeah, I think it's going to get a little bit worse, but I think it's all. I think by April, I think we're back in. We got another good 2.5 years behind us before the violence and shit starts shaking back up for the next election.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like to restore trust.
Well, I don't think that's not going to be done in 4 years.
No, certainly not. And here's the real problem. This is a metaphor I like for this that I thought about when I was really high the other day.
On what?
On drugs. I was on the weed. So just this is like an analogy for I guess the American national discourse. We started together, right? We were close. We were so close that we were able to whisper to each other, And over time, we naturally moved farther apart, and we began speaking with our normal voices to communicate, like we're doing right now. And that was a good thing. Healthy balance. You get the individual's input from their experience, and it enriches everybody, right? We understand things from different viewpoints, and we all live a fuller life because of it. Over time, we all got so wrapped up in living that fuller life and our own bullshit, we moved farther and farther away until we had to shout at each other to communicate, right? Now, we only communicate like angry toddlers, yelling at each other and then throwing tantrums afterwards. And that's where we are right now.
Well, I don't know that we communicate. I think we just talk to each other.
We talk at each other.
We talk at each other, right? We don't really communicate.
No. And there's no room for nuance or calm conversation, and there's damn sure no room left for reason because people won't agree on reality. So there's no appeal to reason. It's like when you're playing a guitar, you put your pinky on the pick guard so you know exactly where all the strings are, right? It's like it's an axis point, so you know where everything is. We have no communicative access point anymore. Like there are no rules, like Robert's Rules of Order.
I do think though, like that with Biden winning, I do think that it sets us up for me and you to run for president and vice president.
Yeah,
I think we can smoke him.
Well, we need to talk about what we need to do, right? Because from my perspective, the next step is this is my fear with the violent stuff. once shouting doesn't work anymore and you can't communicate that way, you still have to communicate.
Yeah.
Right? It's like being in traffic or being in a crowd or something like that, and you have to communicate. People can't hear what you're saying, so you just got to grab them and move them out of the way. And once hands get put on people, you get farther and farther apart, and the only thing you can reach each other with anymore is fucking projectiles, bombs and bullets and shit. You know what I mean? And that's not the best metaphor, but it is, because eventually when people feel like they can't communicate with one another anymore, then they have to fight.
Yeah.
They have to fight and settle that difference. And it's something that we do in the infantry all the time. People fucking have this ongoing beef. No. Put the gloves on and go fight. Get this shit out of your system, because we got to go to war, bitch. And everybody's got to be on the same goddamn page. What we need to do is, what we have to do, I guess, is walk back over and sit down at the goddamn table.
A fight would be fine if it was like, you talk about the Civil War, they all had a purpose behind them.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, get this done, and there's a reason behind it. Right now, you got everybody leading in a bunch of different directions, and nobody, like, there's no common goal, right? And I think that's the hardest part about seeing violence happen now, is there's no common goal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pointless. It's just anger and frustration at this point. And, what we need to do is walk back to the table and start talking with our normal voices again before the entire country collapses.
Or at least come up with a plan.
Yeah, a plan for the violence, you mean?
Yeah, like a plan of, like, what are we trying to accomplish? Like, violence, violence with no goal or something to accomplish is known as terrorism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, terrorism it's an interesting point. Terrorism. People have referred to the people during the Capitol protests as terrorists. Now, that's hyperbole, obviously, but there were some terrorists in there. If you're trying to use violence or the threat of violence to some political end, that is terrorism. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
It doesn't matter which side you support, or if you're an American or not, or whatever the fuck. That is terrorism. So anybody that was like attacking police.
What I watched go on the other day at the Capitol was domestic terrorism. Like, there was no plan behind it. They all literally went out there to do that, to try to put fear in someone.
There was 130, 150,000 people, and like 200 people acted like
But
assholes.
I'm saying the people who stormed the Capitol.
Oh, yeah, they're idiots. Well, some people were just tourists. Did you notice when they broke through the front door that people stayed within the velvet stanchions? Like, they stayed on the rope line. They didn't go outside of it at first. They all just walked right through the middle. So they're institutionalized people. They didn't know what they were doing.
Well, but
I mean, they're stupid is what I'm saying. I'm not saying they were fucking ignorant like a child. I'm saying they're fucking stupid.
Yeah. So I just think that, like, look, accountability needs to be had. That is not a representation of what needs to be going on.
Yeah. No, of course not. That was stupid.
I mean, what do you think? Like, I just, here's what my only question to it is what was their plan after they got into the Capitol? Like, what were they going to do? Like, it's almost like.
We saw what they did. They fucking made prank phone calls, and that dummy picked up Pelosi's. That was really funny. I mean, he's going to get in trouble for it. He'll probably get probation or some shit, but it was really funny.
No, so here's my thing is I thought that breaking into the Capitol the way that they did, you know what it reminded me of the missions that we ran in Afghanistan. We go in and we tear a bunch of shit up and then we leave and let them have it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was no like plan behind it.
Yeah, it's stupid. No.
I thought one of my old commanders might have been in charge of it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, one of my old first sergeants was there, but he was like, people are starting to act stupid and yell, so I'm just going to leave. I'm like, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
So before we move on to the next two principles, we were going to do 3 today, but I'm only going to do 2 because of all this preamble. I knew we had some things to catch up on. But before we move on to the next 2, I want to reiterate the first 3 for context. The first is obviously, I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. 2 is, I will do something every day to help my country, my countrymen, or all men. 3 is, I will not allow those less fortunate or incapable of defending themselves to be harmed or taken advantage of in my country, right? So I put a lot of thought into next to, but before we get into it, we're going to talk about Simply Safe, which is a company that exists. They are, you've got home security, right?
Absolutely.
And I tell you, there are these little things you can do that, what's that old saying? You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just got to be faster than the other guy.
Yeah.
Having a dog in your house makes you like 60% less likely to get broken into, for example. Little shit like that. People seem intimidated by all these new home security systems. Like, well, I got to go buy a camera and then the system for it and install everything.
These things are simple.
Yeah, they just send you the whole thing, and it takes about half an hour to set it up by yourself. So good luck finding that anywhere else. You get a free home security camera if you go to simplysafe.com/American Party. And like I said, excuse me, they've got a bunch of sensors and cameras that protect every inch of your home. You get one free camera with the purchase, and it's 24/7 protection. EMTs, police get sent right to your house anytime there's an emergency or anything like that. And I guess you could just show up to your own house.
Who, me?
Yeah. Like your alarm goes off, you just pull out of the driveway and pull right back in.
Yeah.
You get a 60-day risk-free trial to make sure that it works properly. And it will, because I've used it before. Their products are great. There's phone apps and stuff, and they will monitor your home 24/7, so it's a service as well, right? Like if there's alarms, they look and check, make sure nothing's going on. They'll alert you if there's something going on. You can set. I haven't played with all the software yet, but I think you can set like an out of town feature.
Yeah.
So if somebody does show up to your home while you're out of town, they're actually looking a little more closely at it. It's a really good system. So go to simplysafe.com/American Party for your free security camera today. That is simplysafe.com/American Party. Anyways.
Dan, you're my hero.
Thanks. So back into these, to the point I was making earlier, principle 4 of what it means to be a fucking American is that leaders eat last. And the principle is, as a leader, I will eat last. What does that mean to you?
I mean, look, I think it's, I think that it's our leaders. If you're going to be a leader with the government, you get paid last. If your people aren't getting paid, you get paid last. If your people, you get the same health insurance that your people get. You don't get better than them. You get the same exact thing. And you know what? You wait your turn to get it.
Yeah, you walk into any chow hall in any forward area, any deployed area, and you see an E5 or an E6 standing in front of his E3s, E4s, E2s, E1s.
Eating?
Bad leader.
Bad leader.
I don't trust that guy with anything of mine. I see a guy looking around, making sure everybody that he's responsible for taking care of, and that's the person I'm looking for, right? It's like that parable where, God, who was it?
I mean,
was it Josh and Caleb selecting warriors for Jericho, and the ones that kept their heads up while they were drinking water, that's the one you took, right? It's kind of it's almost... maybe a bastardization of Thermopylae, but I don't know. Anyways, there's certain things you look for, qualities in leadership, and that's certainly one of them. Hard stop, nothing follows.
Well, I mean, it's just a proof, right? It's just proof that the people, that the leaders, men or women, come before them, right? That they put them first, that they truly are looking after them and making sure that they have what they need before they worry about themselves, and that's what leaders do.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, this is, like you said, this is a message to all the turds in politics, but it is one we can all stand to hear from time to time. The politicians who prioritize their own elections and the kickbacks, writing books and getting famous and their fucking egos and all that shit. Recent example is literally everyone in Congress right now. All the governors and mayors and states and cities that have been shut down continue to take salaries after they systematically shut down people's ability to earn their own living. You're still taking your fucking money. You're still, like Alder here in Austin, you're still fucking flying to Mexico for the day for your daughter's fucking wedding reception and shit like that. If you're Gavin Newsom, you're out at French Laundry getting dinner unmasked with a bunch of public health officials. I mean, come on, man. That's not leadership. That is absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? People don't mind being led.
No.
But they won't be led by somebody who's not authentic.
Yeah.
And I more to that point, leaders eat last means those in command, and by that we mean those who are responsible for others. You don't have to be somebody's boss at work. You don't have to be in the military or police. You don't have to be legally in charge of anybody else, but you're responsible for other people, regardless if you want to be or not. I don't buy that whole Charles Barkley, I don't want to be a role model shit. Too bad, guy.
Yeah.
You don't own your fucking spot in society because you've made millions of dollars because of that spot. You owe it to the community.
And the thing is like, why would politicians try to, why would they try to find and make things better if they're not out there suffering with us, right? Like right now, we've got the same thing that has allowed me to become a Medal of Honor recipient. We've got the commander sitting back at the base.
Yeah, doing nothing,
trying to figure out and listen to us. If you're not out there walking the patrol with us, if you're not out there suffering with us and understanding and living by the same rules you put into place, well, how the fuck are you going to make decisions?
Yeah, it's always been bizarre to me that positions like the Joint Chiefs, for example, are 65-year-old generals. What the fuck have they done lately?
Yeah.
That gives them the right to decide what an entire military should be doing. You have no context at all. Those people should never be making decisions. It's the same thing with the president. What is a 74-year-old guy?
What can he relate to us?
Like what is he building? He's not building a world that he has to live in. That's what I want. I want people to own stuff. I want them to feel like they're contributing to something that they have equity in. And that old man doesn't have equity in shit. It's just his ego.
Yep.
Just like it was with Trump and every other old person that's ever run for president, and most young people as well. This isn't about, though, this is about extending personal responsibility beyond yourself, and it's something that you learn in the military. If you have the means, the knowledge, the wisdom, the physical ability, prowess, opportunity, whatever it is, to do something that is necessary in society, particularly something that benefits the country and humanity at large, something that keeps people safe, fed, things like that, then you have a goddamn responsibility to use that power for its intended purpose. Otherwise, that power should be taken away from you.
Well, you shouldn't get the title if you ain't going to live.
Right, but the title is beyond political titles. It's beyond appointments. It's beyond elections. Your first title is human being. Your second title is American, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing to earn those titles? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you
do to earn it? And you don't just, like I tell people all the time that, like, after you get the title is when the work starts.
Yeah,
it's not just when you get it, right? You get it, and then you got to earn it every single day. Like, what did you do today to earn your title American? Yeah. What did you do today to earn your title leader? Whatever it is, what did you do today to earn that title?
Well, I can tell you what it is, and it's from I guess I'll quote the Bible again today. I quote the Bible more than any religious person I know. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48, right? It's a very famous verse. And if you were one of those people, it shows up a lot in a lot of religious texts, because the first men that learned how to write, one of the first things they tried to do is figure out what the fuck we're supposed to be doing here on earth, right? That's where all this religion and philosophy stuff came from. They were able, even then, to immediately recognize that service is the reason we exist. It's written in all of our holy books and philosophy and literature. It echoes through our Constitution. So what are we doing with that information? Forget about the white privilege nonsense when I say privilege, because that's not what I mean. Think about how you are specifically well-suited to help someone specifically or in the grand scheme of things by being good. What are you doing right now that matches up with Luke 12:48? To whom much is given, much will be required. What is required of you? And what are you doing to fucking satisfy that requirement? What are you doing to earn your place in this country? What's that phrase? Everybody's a range safety. Remember that one?
Yeah, everybody's a range safety officer.
So what's the implication of that?
It means that if you see something, say something.
Right. We're all responsible for ourselves, and we're all responsible for each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
That's especially true when it comes to safety and protecting life.
It's like watching somebody shoplift from a store. Mm-hmm. Like, if you see it, stop it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's your fellow business owner. You know, cops aren't everywhere. Cops can't do it all. But we all have to do it all.
Yeah.
We all have to step up and do our part. We all have to pull over and help people on the side of the road. Like, how many times do you drive past somebody that's got a flat tire on the side of the road? You see some mother with her kids in her car.
I would never drive past that. I wouldn't be able to.
I never do.
I would feel like a piece of shit.
Absolutely. But I see it. I mean, I see people do it all the time. I see people drive by wrecks.
Yeah.
I see people do, it's just at what point, what have you done today to earn your seat at the table?
Right. And we seem to have bifurcated that into right and left now. But I'll tell you this, my buddy TJ Lavin, the guy that hosts MTV's The Challenge, former BMX superstar, X Games gold winner.
See if he'll let me on there.
On where?
On The Challenge.
Yeah, we'll probably do that.
Yeah, I'll get on there.
Get you and Derek White in the handicap division.
Yeah.
Because you're retarded and his leg's retarded. So is that how that works? I don't know what retarded means. Anyways, yeah, TJ is pretty liberal dude. He's been around Hollywood for a long time, but he's not like one of those kind of people. But he's, socially speaking, pretty liberal and apolitical otherwise. But I'll tell you what he does do. He fucking earns it every single day. Yeah. That dude gets bored in the middle of the day, and because of the kind of work he does and he has time off, nothing to do, he makes good money, so he drives around Metro Vegas looking for people broken down or that need help and just helps them. That's what he does for a day or two out of the week.
That's awesome.
That's earning it. And not everybody can do that. A lot of people are working fucking long-ass hours, plus they have kids at home, they're in debt, they got a lot of problems. But you can find something. So what kind of leader are you going to be? You don't have the option in this country
it goes back
to not be a leader.
To what we said. What have you done today to make somebody's life better?
If we're going to talk about how this is the best country in the world, we damn sure better be ready to back that up.
I'm with you.
We imagine the kind of person that, for example, has something great like a nice meal, and hungry. There's another ladybug in here.
Yeah, I just killed it.
Good.
Killed the ladybug.
Imagine the kind of person that has like a big spread, a lot of food right here, and a bunch of hungry people walk by, and the guy first hides the food, but then stands there and tells the people walking by how good the food was. Like, that person is a sociopath and an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody would respect that person. But for some reason, we can sit here in America, call it the greatest country in the world, do nothing to make that true.
Shit on each other.
Right? Shit on each other, and then fucking still wag our fingers at foreigners. You know what I mean? What the fuck is that bullshit? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not saying that you need to give anybody your money or your home or that we need to have open borders with impunity. I'm saying that the words on the statue say, bring me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, because that's what the goddamn country was meant to be in the first place.
But that doesn't mean, that means we take care of them.
Yeah, and it means they fucking, but we have to have both sides of it. This is the problem that happens with the left and the right. The left will say, we got to take care of them. And the right's answer should simply be, I agree, but they've got to earn it.
Yeah.
Because so do I and so do you. It's a very simple concept. It's duality. It's fucking binary, goddammit. There's male and female trees. There's ones and zeros in binary language. There's always two things that keep each other in balance, a yin and a yang. It's how it works.
Yep.
Everybody has recognized that for the last 8,000 years at least.
That's why there's parents, mom and the dad.
To be the best American, you're doing those things. You're making sure people are taken care of, and you're upholding those values. You're a leader, and you're holding yourself to that standard. Otherwise, you're not earning it. Whatever it is you're doing otherwise, you're not earning the right to call yourself a fucking American.
But I think that, like, most people can't even define what an American is. Like, they can't even define, I think that everything is defined by two things, and that's standards and accountability. Mm-hmm. Right? So you got to set the standard, you got to set the expectation, and then you got to hold people accountable to that expectation, right?
Yeah.
That's the standard. What is the standard of being an American? There is no standard anymore.
No. There
is no standard of what does it mean to earn it. America's like a bunch of spoiled little fucking brats. This is like, America has had it so good that we're kind of like trust fund babies, right? We're like trust fund babies. We want to drive around in our fast cars, show all our money and how great and free we are that we didn't earn.
Right.
And then point and talk down to other countries. Yeah.
It's like, I guess it's a little like sports fans that say we all the time. Like, we're gonna do it this weekend. I'm like, oh, did you make the cut?
Yeah, you play.
You're on the team now. And I get it. People want to feel part of something that's good, but man, it is very bizarre to show up late to the party and then take credit for the hors d'oeuvres. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are fucking doing that shit, and it really irks me. You posted something on Instagram about it yesterday.
What?
About
all the people talking shit?
Yeah. Like I was in the fucking, I did this. Like, dude, fucking wash dishes, man.
Yeah, I said it was pretty. I actually stole it from my old.
What's a quote from you though? Is it?
No, I took it from my sniper.
Oh, so you're plagiarizing just like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Then?
Yeah, I guess I'm just like them.
Well, at least you plagiarize somebody no one knows instead of two of the most famous human beings in American history.
So all this talk about I'm going to grab my guns and get ready for war. I served with a lot of you. Some of you couldn't even zero your weapons, sit your remedial ass down before you have an accident. It's so true though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, and look, we all, I feel like if you could find the average shooter and put their 35 to 40-year-old brain inside of that 20-year-old body again, Jesus Christ, we'd never lose a war again. We wouldn't even need bombs. Those guys would just win it on their own.
Well,
my brain and my young body, knowing what I know now, would be the best case scenario, right?
I always go back to all these guys that talk about I just want to go back and kick indoors and shoot people in the face. It's like, well, first off,
there was a purpose to it.
You were never agile enough to kick in a door, and you definitely couldn't shoot good enough to hit somebody in the face. So, let's just be honest here. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's comical to a degree, I guess, but it's also very problematic. Just that line of thinking that I did something once, so I'm good now. You know what I mean? And what did they really do though? But
what was really done though?
Even me.
Set on the fob?
Even me, somebody or one of our experiences, if you're not still in that mindset, if you're not still shooting and thinking about stuff like that, keeping up with new tactics, blah, 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 what you did fucking 10 years ago doesn't matter. Frankly.
Bro,
it'll help you against somebody that's never done it, but when shit really hits the fan, you're going to be fucking out of shape. You're not going to be moving as fast as you think you are and all that stuff.
If you couldn't come in and kill me or whoop my ass, you suck.
Yeah.
You really suck. Yeah. I might outsmart you. I think the only advantage that I have is that, guess what? I've done it before.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's the only advantage I have.
It does make a lot of difference, but we have this whole fucking group of people that have never done it, or that have done it so long ago that it's basically irrelevant now, talking a lot of shit. And to that point of, would you want to kick doors down and shoot people in the face again? Want is probably not the right word, but I mean, there is something kind of awesome about it. There's something people don't like to admit it, but there's something very.
I'm out.
There's something very, I guess, primal, something satisfying about somebody trying to kill you and you killing them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't need to do it anymore.
No, but it's.
Because
there's no purpose, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't care if I hear people talk about, my dream would be if somebody broke in my house. Fuck, man, I don't care if I never get hit in the face again. I don't care if anybody never wants to fight me again.
Yeah.
Dude, I hope I go through the rest of my life and nobody ever wants to point any violence at me. But on the backside of it, if they do, there's a switch in there that's still there that, I will drop to whatever level they want to get to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hear people talk about that shit all the time, and I'm like, yeah, because you've never had your ass kicked.
Yeah.
You want it because you've never had your ass kicked.
Yeah, you never fucking watched your buddy bleed out.
But for me, that, what you're talking about, look, we're has-beens. We're fucking has-beens. Mm-hmm. We're kind of irrelevant in the space of war fighters, right?
Yeah. At this point, for sure.
At this point. And that's why I had to go get on a truck. That's why I had to go be a firefighter. That's why I had to go do something else to level up and see if I could still answer the call in the environment that I'm in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean,
if I could still do it, like
service,
service. Could I still measure up to what I think I can? And let me tell you something. I don't move as fast as I used to. I can tell you that, and I can't take as much shit as I used to.
No, and there's no. I mean, expecting yourself to be able to do that is irrational. I'm looking for this other quote.
Let's go into principle 5
from Rogan. Yeah, well, hold on, because I got this.
Oh, the Rogan quote. I put it on my deal.
I know, I've got it. It's Rogan said this not too long ago. He said, "What is the number of veterans in this country? I mean, it's got to be more than 1 million." To address that point, there's I think 13 million active, or not active. There's 13 million GWAT veterans, I think, out there, and about 1 out of every 18 is a shooter, give or take. So it's like 600,000 people. It's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's so many people in this country that really understand violence, and they're not the ones calling for violence. They're not the quote-unquote punching Nazi people. The people that really understand violence, that have seen violence, that have committed violence for their country, those are the motherfuckers that you break glass in case of war. You need them, and people don't understand that. These people running around calling for violence, calling for revolution, you're going to open a door you can never close. And when those soldiers come pouring out of the door to defend what they think is an attack on their freedoms in their country, you're fucked. I think that's a pretty smart thing.
Yeah, I mean,
for him to have said.
Yeah, I mean, look, the day that the real guys, the day that the people who've actually done something,
yeah,
the day that the people who have seen violence so bad that they don't ever want to see violence again, turn to violence, that's when shit's gonna get real.
Yeah. It's going to get...
that's when you're going to have something really get done. And that's when it's not going to be some dude that lives in his mom's basement with fucking horns on his head.
Yeah.
Thinking that he's a hero.
Yeah, that guy is not, by the way. Just a fucking knucklehead. And I love how his mom's on TV now. He can't live without organic food. Like, wow, dude. Like, you took the time to paint your face and get all tough and shit, but you can't live without organic food?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I mean, I grew up eating ramen noodles and fucking and peanut butter sandwiches, so pretty sure you'll make it.
Yeah, I think he'd be just all right.
Yeah. Anyways, that guy's a pussy. On to principle 5, and this is another one that it dovetails a little bit with the previous, but I think it's an important singular statement. I will put more into this country than I take out of it. We've all heard this kind of thinking before: leave the room better than you found it.
I mean, that's what we've said. That's what we've literally said. I
people in the military, or who have parents in the military or police or anything like that, or any kind of organization, Boy Scout, whatever it is, you've heard this before. So
my grandfather, I've got a book coming out in June. And my grandfather, and it really hit home, and I started writing about this the other day about dying with dignity.
Right.
My grandfather died with dignity, but now here's the thing. Here's the only way you can guarantee to die with dignity is that if you leave every room and every situation with dignity, mm-hmm. if you always hold yourself with dignity, because you never know when you're going to die, and that's the only way you die with dignity is if you live every single moment, every single situation with dignity.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically applying carpe diem to being a good person.
Absolutely.
Carpe diem doesn't just mean that you've got 1 hour left in the candy shop, you better make it count. It's you have 1 hour left on earth. Have you taken care of all your responsibilities? Are you leaving this country, this world better for the people that come next? Because if you don't do that, then you're a piece of shit, man. I mean, that logic just doesn't track to me. And that's why I don't like these old politicians. They have the only skin they have in the game is their own ego. That's all. The only skin that a 70-year-old politician has to be president is their own fucking ego, and it should not be allowed. You should have to live in the world you've created.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? For a substantial amount of time. I think nobody over 55 should be allowed to run for president. You should have to spend your twilight years in the fucking system that you created. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
So this is a simple phrase. I'll put more into this country than I take out of it. What do we mean? Let's take a closer look at that. What are we telling people when we say that? It's not just about the gun range thing or some campsite ethos. It's not about conservation or any of that shit, although those things are important. It's about the kind of mindset that is constantly looking to improve their position and the positions of those around them.
Yeah,
right?
it's to give more than you take.
Yeah, and it's
to take only what you need.
Yeah, take what you need and replace, like replacing your divot on a golf course, or not overfishing, not over hunting. It is conservation, but socially speaking.
Social conservation.
Yeah. How are we taking care of people's souls?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that drive and innovation that keeps society progressing, and combined with empathy, it's one of the most important factors in society. It turns empathy into a sport almost, like something, a source of pride.
And this is more of a mindset of, not doing something because you want a tax write-off, not doing something because, it's going to make you look good to the community. It's just about doing something that nobody knows about.
Right.
Because it's the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah, it is.
This is doing something without recognition. This is doing something without something that serves you other than the fact that you did it yourself.
Right. And it's the concept, since it's not about necessarily just conservation, the thing that's truly profound about that, about leave the room better than you found it, or I'll put more into the country than I take out of it, or whatever, however you want to phrase it. The thing that's truly remarkable about it is that it recognizes two critical things. One is that we all have a responsibility to be good stewards of our environment, our country, our relationships, those around us, whatever we're involved in, anything that we benefit from, whether it's society or our local community or our family or our friend groups or our tribe, if it's military or whatever the fuck it is. You have a responsibility to those things, to be a good steward of those things, to make sure they're taken care of to the best of your ability. And you also have the responsibility to let those things take care of you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Being part of a tribe means your burdens are no longer your own, just as the tribe's problems are now yours. If you don't start giving and asking for help, then all of this was for nothing. And all of human society was for nothing. The muscle of the community, that muscle of the community, and empathy at large will atrophy, and will just become another failed state in the history books.
And let me throw this back to you. I think that the rise of people on welfare is because we're not doing our part. When the government has to come in and take care of the people like that, we should be able to do that with our communities.
Yeah, that should be an embarrassment. If you're a local community and you have to reach outside, now sometimes it's obviously necessary, and communities have trouble just like people do. Sometimes everybody needs a little bit of help. But if over the past 50 years you're one of those areas that have never been able to figure it out, that is a failure. Not just of yours, but of ours collectively.
Absolutely.
And it's embarrassing. I mean, imagine... to me, this is what it feels like. And I think if people think of it this way, then it might change the way they handle their business. It's like somebody comes over that you don't know, right? And your kids don't have what they need, and they get your kids what they need, even though you had the opportunity and ability to do it.
Yeah.
That you should feel like a piece of shit. If somebody's having to fucking clean up after you because you're not pulling your part, you should feel like a piece of shit. And it truly is like another man coming into your home and setting things straight when you couldn't. That should deeply embarrass you.
100%.
That should make you feel horrible. And if it doesn't, then you're fucked. But if it does, then you should think about applying it to your country.
And if you justify it, if you justify not doing something for someone else because of how they're living their life, then your judgment has got in the way.
Nobody needs that. That doesn't help. Like that's one of our problems right now. A guy named Tim something or other, I can't remember his name. Tim Wise, I think he writes, he's a kind of a douchebag, but one of the things he wrote in a book called Between Barack and a Hard Place is that he tells this anecdote about how when he lived in Louisiana, one of the roommates in this big house had made gumbo, and he was like, well, I don't want any, so you guys enjoy that or whatever. And people ate it for over the next day or so, then they just left it there for like 3-4 days, started to smell. Finally, he came downstairs, and he's like, hey, you going to clean this up? He's like, oh, no, I didn't make it. He did. And he's like, at some point, we have to acknowledge that there's a fucking problem, and that regardless of who's responsible for it, it's got to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Or it will never get cleaned up, right? The smell will continue. We'll eventually all get meningitis and die.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you ate it, if you participated in it, in any piece of it, you do your part.
You certainly do your part, but even if you didn't and you come upon the situation and you're able to fix it, you are duty bound to do so.
Yeah.
So the second thing that this phrase recognizes, it acknowledges that things break down over time and need maintenance, right? Which is it's a very smart thing. If we want to truly live in the best country in the world, we damn sure better work hard at making it the best country. There's no end state here.
No.
Like, as long as you're alive, you should be working to make this a better country.
Yeah,
and before you die, like you said, you want to die with dignity, with all your fucking boxes checked.
There's no fucking finish line. The finish line's when you see the white light.
Well, there's no finish line at all.
That's
for the country, hopefully.
But
right?
for us,
yeah,
for you as an individual, Jocko talks about this. There's this one video he talks about, and really hit home. I was listening to it while I was working out the other day, and he talks about rolling this stone like every day. Like it's like rolling this stone to the top of the mountain.
Right.
And it's like when you get to the top of the fucking mountain, you turn around and kick the stone off the side to go down there and roll it up there again.
Right.
There is no end.
Yeah.
There is no end.
There can't be.
There can't
be. I mean, if there is an end to your effort towards this country, that means there's an end to the country. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine. But I don't want it to be like that. And I think this part of the principle can be applied anywhere, to your marriage, your friendships, your job, how you feel about yourself included. I'll put more into this than I take out of it. It's interesting to think about that in a relationship. Like, how many relationships have you been in? Because I always do this, just because I am the person I am. But I always put more in than I take out, because I feel I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I felt like I was
we honestly
leeching off somebody else.
I call it our insurance policy, so that we can justify whatever they throw at us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, I agree, and it's also important to apply this to yourself. Are you putting more into yourself than you're taking out? Like, are you giving more to other people than you're putting in? Because just like any other creature, your fucking brain, your soul, whatever the fuck you want to call it, your consciousness, it needs food, it needs sustenance, it needs water, it needs rest, it needs all those things just like any other organism needs. And if you're not doing that properly, you're only going to be giving a fraction of yourself to people, to your country. We need all of you, right? We need your 100% effort all the time when you're giving it. So you have to take care of yourself as well. And that's something that particularly veterans have a really hard time doing. We can't even ask people for help because we think it makes us seem like pussies, which is funny because in the middle of combat, you need somebody to do something. You always fucking call for help.
Yep.
Always. But for some reason we come back here and it feels shameful for us to admit that there's some kind of problem when of course there is. Why would there not be?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So those are 4 and 5. You guys got any questions in the chat before we wrap this up? Better wrap that gavel up, B.
Yeah, wrap it up.
But don't wrap up your dick because condoms are pointless.
They are pointless. All right, nobody's asking any questions.
You have to give them a second.
We do?
There's a little bit of a delay.
How much of a delay is there? How do we know?
I think there's 11 seconds.
11
to 17. Depends.
Wrap it up, box.
Better wrap that gavel up, B. That's my favorite thing. I always wanted to go into court just so I could say that. I was going to bring in a wrap it up box, just like the civil court where they can't. I mean, yeah, they can hold me in contempt, but it's like $1,000 fine. I'll pay that.
What?
Huh? Just for anything.
Yeah.
Just to be able to say, wrap that shit up.
Wrap that shit up.
Yeah, I'm doing reverse PSAs now to get people to do drugs and not wear condoms.
Oh, I got you.
I don't know if that's like, can I be held liable for that at all? I don't know if that's a thing. Good job sending, Dan. That's funny.
What are condoms?
Stuff you put on your feet to keep your feet from getting wet.
Okay.
Do I think the great gun grab will ever happen?
No.
I think here's the problem right now. The only way that they would be able to do it is if they truly do stack the court and add 4 more justices to the Supreme Court. Because if they, let's say January 21st, the House passes, then the Senate passes, then Biden signs some bill that makes some big anti-gun bill. It's almost immediately going to go to the Supreme Court within the next 3 to 4 months, probably, because it's such a big issue. And the Supreme Court, as it is, would torch that law. But
it'll never happen. It'll never, quote me.
If they spend the next year or so stacking the bench, add 4 more seats, Breyer retires, they replace him, then they add 4 more justices, then yeah, they absolutely will. They will absolutely try to do that. But
they'll try. It'll never happen.
I don't think they're going to actually try to stack the bench. That would be a huge, huge mistake with violent consequences, in my opinion. So I don't know. What do we think of hustle motivation porn? I don't even know what the fuck that is.
You really watch porn?
Yeah, every day.
Really?
3-4 times a day.
Giorgio, you watch porn?
He makes porn. What are you talking about?
You make porn. Like you film yourself? That's so weird. You really watch porn?
Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
That's fucking weird.
I'll watch anybody bang. Anybody that I know particularly.
You just watch them bang.
Yeah.
So weird.
And I fucking I wear reading glasses, but I wear them down on the tip of my nose so I can look down at people while I'm doing it because it makes me feel powerful.
Really?
No, I made that part up.
Oh. But you do watch porn?
Yes.
Do you hold the phone while you watch it, or what do you do?
The phone, no, I have 4 different laptops at once. 4 different screens and then my TV, and I'm casting to my TV as well. And it's just 8 different fucking scenes. And
like why you sit on the couch? Like why you sit on the couch?
Sometimes, yeah. It depends on how much I need to spread out.
But spread out?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go full spread eagle, right? And I have to get on the bed for that because I can't spread eagle on my fucking couch.
So you spread eagle?
Yeah, it's called SC Jack, spread eagle Jack, yeah.
And then you watch it?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Why not? Is what guy for real? HUD Santu, are you asking if I'm for real? No, I'm just making all this shit up.
No, they're talking about me.
Oh. Yeah, well, you're definitely not for real.
I am for real.
No.
Okay. All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah, comment. Go ahead and we're going to be doing probably 2 more of these principal shows over the next couple of weeks, depending on what happens. If anything more important happens, we'll address it as it comes. But if you want to have some input or have any thoughts on the additional list of principles, or you have any ideas, just go ahead and put them in the YouTube comments here. We'll come back and check on them.
And make sure to go over and follow us on American Party Podcast on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Go over and give us a little comment. We'll put a picture up today.
Yep.
We want to get some. Actually, want to get some of your all's comments about me and Dan. We'll put up 2 or 3 different pictures for our Hinge profile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We'll do the Hinge profile thing today. So you know, because we appreciate your input. I know all of you guys are single and lonely and miserable, which those kind of people give the best relationship advice. So
yeah.
Drink it, bro. This is the way to go, right?
Yeah. All right. See y'all.